Number 3. My husband and I have radically different approaches to household responsibilities. He's an INFP and I'm an ENFJ. My philosophy is, if something needs to be done, we will create a system to get it sorted. My partner does things in the moment according to his feelings. The other day it was his turn to cook, but he told me he wasn't feeling hungry and I could get myself food if I felt differently. Sorry, I hear you. This is alien to my adult self, who believes we all do our fair share, even when we don't feel like it. Is there a way to navigate this issue without disrespecting his personality as an INFP? I'm gonna need a little gulp of tea before I answer this one. Okay, so first of all, I hear you. You're an ENFJ, he's an INFP. You literally have no 4 people in common with each other, which means that your feeling is oriented differently, your thinking is oriented differently, and those, of course, are our decision-making parts of us, the feeling and the thinking. So what you're describing here is, he's not feeling hungry, so therefore he's not carrying out his duty of making food, which he agreed to do. Now, it's a real inner harmony, outer harmony struggle, this one. You're an outer harmony person, which means that the way that you feel respected is that everybody pulls their weight, everybody references to other people to make sure that everybody is harmonious. Your partner or your husband is an inner harmony person as an INFP, which means that in order for him to feel honored, what is important is how he's feeling. So you both have one inward facing feeling and one outward facing feeling, and those, either one of those parts, feel respected by the opposite to the other, which means that somebody's going to be disrespected, right? Somebody's going to feel disrespected. Unless you have a conversation where you recognize that this is what's going on, and you navigate through that relationship's challenge by saying, hey, you know what? So you could say to your INFP husband, hey, when you do that, I've planned my day according to the fact that I don't have to cook, and then when you turn around and you say you don't feel hungry, now I still have to cook for myself, and it feels to me like you don't care. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's actually happening, I'm just saying that's how it feels to me. And I also assume that if I was to force you to cook when you don't feel hungry, that would feel disrespectful for you. Is that what's happening? And then you start a conversation around that. So then what can happen is that he can say, oh, I never thought about it this way. Well, let me just say that I'll actually change my behavior and do it that way going forward. Or maybe he shouldn't be agreeing to making dinner. Like maybe when he makes the dinner, then it's like a bonus for you. So then you'll feel really nurtured and looked after because he's now making the dinner because he's wanting to offer. Hey Sambo, he's wanting to offer this kind of nurturing for you, impromptu. So it's more about dismantling this kind of power struggle is more about starting the conversation than it is actually finding the right way of doing it. Because let's face it, as an ENFJ, harmony is the most important thing. You'd rather know than not know. So if you know that he's not going to do that, that's probably already going to give you some sense of relief. But here's the other thing that I want to bring into this. What is it in the other person, what is in their feeling function that you need to learn about? And what is in your feeling function that they need to learn about and grow in? So when I started, because I have an INFP partner, of course, some of you know Peter, my beautiful partner. So we, again, as I'm an INFJ, he's an INFP, we have no functions in common. When we when we let go of the need to struggle for power, we can actually look at the person and say, oh my God, they're really good at inward feeling. They're really good at that authenticity, that ethicist piece. And if it doesn't feel right for them to do something, is there something for me to learn in there that where I used to be self-sacrificing, can I use that person as an inspiration for me to prioritize my own feelings at times? Because I gotta tell you, once I started to stop self-sacrificing myself, our relationship grew a lot better. Because I'm no longer self-sacrificing and then pointing a finger at my partner saying, you should be self-sacrificing too. So what can I learn from the other person that I don't naturally do? How can I make my life more healthy because of an inspiration that I get from who they are? So that's a really good way of looking at that. But the main thing is to start the conversation. The main thing is to start the conversation. And you can even say to him, because you were saying in your question, is there a way to navigate this issue without disrespecting his personality as an INFP? You can say to him, hey, I'd like to have this conversation because I don't want to end up in a situation where I'm disrespecting you as a person. So I'm trying to figure out where this is, what's happening, what's going on, what can we do differently, which means that they're likely to be, their inward facing world, their inner world is likely to be what they consider to be the real world. And for you as an extrovert, the outer world is what you consider to be the real world. So there's just one massive big thing that you can just right now go and say, what can I learn from this introvert? You can learn introspection for sure. And what can they learn from you if they're open to it? They can learn, socializing and connecting with people in a meaningful way. All right. So that's, and any questions, comments, or confusions, just pop them into the comment section here in the video. I would love to hear from you. And also, what in today's session was the most meaningful thing for you? What did you take away? What was your number one golden nugget takeaway moment from today's video? I want to hear that because I want to make sure that what we're doing here is helpful for you. I don't need to hear more of my own voice. I hear it enough already as it is. I don't need to be speaking anymore. So if these sessions are not helpful, I'm going to discontinue doing them. I want to make sure that it's creating some value in the world. Okay, so let me know what's going on for you. Also, an interesting personal piece. Two of my love languages, my top love languages, is number one, acts of service, and number two, words of affirmation. So if you want to let me know, if you want to encourage me to continue to do my work, if you want to be a part of this movement, give me some words of encouragement. If you want to grow this movement, if you want to show me how much you care and how much value you've gotten out of this work, then, talk to a friend who might benefit from this. Bring some more people into this movement. Do this act of service to really see through this 20 to 50 year plan that we have for creating more compassionate and effective leadership in the world. So thank you very much for today. I will talk to you next week. Have a great week, everyone.